Hi, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Pizzan Academy. I'm Deanna, and happy Valentine's Day. This is a day that in the Catholic tradition, the Saint Valentinus is celebrated. But how did this day of gory martyrdom back from the 3rd century get turned into a day of love, chocolate, and roses? We're going to explore that today. According to historical sources, particularly the Acta Sanctorum, which is this monumental work that was brought together over hundreds of years by a Jesuit order of saints called the Valentinus. They're from Belgium, and they scoured the world for historical sources about the lives of the saints. And this is how we know about the 3 Saint Valentinuses that were martyred on February 14th. So we have to go back to the 3rd century AD, where we have Emperor Gothicus, Claudius II, as he's also known, and he martyred a man named Valentinus. Now, Valentinus was performing marriages, and the emperor had outlawed marriages because he thought that Roman soldiers would be better soldiers if they weren't married. So the priest who was performing these marriages, Valentinus, was arrested and put into the care of one of the noblemen. And this nobleman had a daughter who was blind. And he allowed the priest to talk, which was his mistake because the priest kept talking about the Christian tradition and about Savior and being able to save people's souls, particularly the pagans. And so this nobleman said that if he could cure his blind daughter, that he would let the priest go free. And so Valentinus put his hands over the eyes of the daughter, and her blindness was cured. When the emperor heard about this story, though, he arrested the whole family, had them executed, and beheaded Valentinus. So this is our first account. So the second account of Valentinus being martyred on February 14th also was done by the Emperor Gothicus. So Valentinus was arrested, and like our first Valentinus, he was able to cure the son of a nobleman and was beheaded by the same emperor. Now we have a third account of a Valentinus being executed in the 3rd century, and this would have been done in North Africa, but we don't have a lot of other information. Now some sources, and even these Belgian monks who compiled this information, said that it's likely that this was all the same person, but these were different accounts that were sort of retold over time. So we're going to fast forward a little bit to 496, and this is when the first St. Valentine's Day was celebrated. There was a Roman festival called Lupercalia, and this was celebrated in mid-February by the pagan Romans, and this was a festival where boys would draw out the names of girls, and for the entirety of the festival, usually a couple of days, they would pretend to be boyfriend and girlfriend, and then sometimes they would be married afterwards. In 496, this tradition was absorbed into the Christian tradition for the Feast of St. Valentine because they were trying to get rid of all of these pagan festivals. This is one account that shows how maybe love could get tied in with St. Valentine or Valentinus, the martyred Christian. In the 14th century, the medieval poet Geoffrey Chaucer wrote about the mating of birds, and this happened in February. And so this was a time that in the English tradition, people would write love notes and love letters, and this occurred within February, and so this got wrapped up into the St. Valentine's Day also. In the Renaissance, Shakespeare also makes this connection between St. Valentine and love. In Hamlet, Ophelia refers to Hamlet as her Valentine. Now, over the course of the next few hundred years, the English took this tradition and they would write love letters to those that they loved, whether they were married or betrothed or had a secret passion for. This was a day that you could exchange love letters. After the Industrial Revolution, cards became more readily available, and Valentine's Day cards started being published and shared amongst people. The chocolate makers kind of got in on this Valentine's Day love tradition and created chocolates in the shape of roses and hearts. And that is how we now have this wonderful day of love that goes all the way back to a martyr who was martyred for marrying people or for his own beliefs in Christianity. And as you see, these holidays evolve over time, and it's really interesting to study the history. If you're enjoying our videos, please like them, share with your friends, hit that notification bell, and check out our other social media in the description below. Have a great Valentine's Day, and I wish you a wonderful day of love.